This is just a quick video on House Deneith favor and buying an upgraded quiver. So you talk to this house patron, Deneith patron, when you want to get your 75 favor, which we just did from Sorrow Dusk. Once you've talked to him, you have access to this vendor, and he sells a lot of things. But one of the most interesting things is this large, wide quiver. You'll notice there's no minimum level on it. Comparatively speaking to our quiver, it holds stacks of 250, which is kind of interesting because you would think it'd be 300 just because things tend to drop in stacks of 100, not 50. But nonetheless, it has 10 slots instead of 6, and it's kind of expensive, but I think we're going to go ahead and grab it at this price. Put it down here. We'll do our usual skill boost to get 130 or so off of it. And then we'll just transfer our arrows over. And we'll put this one here and put on auto gather. And let's see, the bolts we don't really care about, so let's start with the arrows. And yeah, the idea is just to let kind of arrows stack up and accumulate in this quiver, and then when we get bolts, we sell them. So I'm going to gather these, put these out to sell to the vendor. And I don't know if we could sell this quiver, so I'm going to try to sell this quiver to the vendor. If not, there's no reason to keep it, just delete it. But I think you could sell it because it has a base value there. So now I'm going to lock this. We now have, up to 10 things that could be stored, and whether those are bolts or instead of 6. So that just means less inventory problem, and it doesn't take up an inventory slot. It just takes up our quiver spot. So it's a nice upgrade. It's kind of expensive, but getting 4 inventory spaces is probably worth it, and you'll be able to basically use this from level 1 when you reincarnate. So a great upgrade that we can only get from this House Deneith vendor, and you want to get the wide quiver, not the thin quiver that's available at the next tier of House Deneith favor. That's kind of a better item for archer types. This is a better item for people that are more melees or casters and just want to collect arrows outside their inventory. So that's it on House Deneith favor, and it's a nice upgrade from our other quiver.